Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and it is now time to take you to a place. Jump on the caravan of love right here as we bring you that boom bap breakfast with a little bit of R&B mixed with it. Let me introduce you to our host with the most, Kamal K. Franklin. Ooh, you gotta float on that. Hey.
That was a jam. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Love that song.
Man, we had 3 this weekend.
I know. All 3 of the Isley brothers died this weekend. That was crazy. No, that's not what happened? My bad. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know. My man Chris Jasper died from the Isley brothers.
Oh, that's right.
We had Gwen McCrae.
Gwen McCrae died?
Yes.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent?
Funky Sensation.
My funky sensation. Can you feel it?
Oh my goodness! And no other.
Wait a minute, but isn't she also? She's not also the rent. Ain't that that's another one. That's not the same person.
I don't know. Maybe the chat room knows.
The chat might know. Go ahead, do your thing.
No other than I ain't even have it together, boy. I tell you, I'm trying to get everything together here.
That's
but
right.
how you? Yeah, I know. One of the. You keep talking while I'm getting together.
Oh, and you 4 Jerry Butler.
For Jerry Butler.
Jerry
that's
Butler.
Right.
I don't know if folks here, my man, me and Jamil might be the only ones. We old enough to remember the Iceman coming. Right.
Roberta Flack.
Roberta Flack. Yeah.
Yes, man.
Oh, thank you. That's Gwen Guthrie.
Gwen Guthrie.
Ain't nothing going. And is she alive?
I think she's still alive. You know, that's
she was a little. She looked a little like she might have.
That's Ricky. That's Ricky's girl right there. Gwen Guthrie.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Yeah.
You
know, we tried to say she was a one-hit wonder with that.
But, she was.
Oh no.
Maybe she had 2.
Hey, yeah.
Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to mix the potential living with the dead and those who may have died already. So yeah, I mean, all salutations to the folks who have passed. Roberta Flack was big.
For real.
Jerry Butler, yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a classical breakdown on her again.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So how you been, man? How was your week off?
Well, was it off? What did I have a week off? The kids were out of school, winter break, after just having Christmas break. I still don't understand what sense this makes.
Yeah.
After having a whole week off, because Atlanta can't take a half an inch of cold, a half inch of snow, temperatures below freezing for one day. So they already had like a whole week off too, in addition to those breaks. Yeah. But yes, so the kids were off. We went to Disney World, the devil mouse.
Okay.
Who again did an excellent job. I hate it. I hate when I go to these parks and they do a good job. They do a good job of the bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
But so we went through a couple like one of these things that I traveled through time and space, and then they present their history. And then their history is always like European based and full of lies. They gave the Europeans is how they invented math. I was like, what the fuck? The
what?
Greeks? I was like, the Greeks invented math? What are you crazy?
Shit.
I was like, oh my God. I was like,
wow.
that. Yes. All of it. Nothing about the first humans you see, are the cave people, not anybody in Africa, no modern coming up. there's always that one, they always show one black face doing something that has nothing to do with anything, like they're screaming something out about the printing press or whatever. So it's like with things like that. Again, I had to go on a roller coaster. I can't take the roller coasters no more. Yeah. I thought I was about to die. I really thought, I was like, I can't do these no more. I'm
heart
too old.
Attack. You was feeling a heart attack coming.
I was holding on for dear life.
Elizabeth,
dear life. My son, he's laughing. He's like, just the best. Exactly. It's like, he's kind of like, is this it? And I'm kind of like, is this it? Is this it? Like a whole 360 loop, like going backwards.
Yeah, that's too much. My kids are big enough to do that. My son don't even mess with no roller coasters. My daughter,
she likes them.
Yeah, does it with her friends. Have a good time. I'm good. Yeah, you look like you lost a little weight in your pockets.
Definitely that. Definitely in the pockets.
Oh my goodness! But
it's like a bottled water was like $6 in the Disney park. $6.
You know everybody dehydrating out there.
Son, you cough it up because you're just like, I need the water.
Yeah, they get you.
You cough it up. So I'm broke. I'll be broke for the next 6 months.
I get that.
Until I get some more Black Liberation Media revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Speak on it. We're at the bottom of the screen. You can donate at blkliberationmedia.org in case you didn't know. Become a Patreon member at the same time.
How are you doing? How was your weekend?
My weekend, oh my goodness. So, boom. Start off, my homegirl had a birthday party at this place called Skip Day. Now, Skip Day is a day where the party starts early. The black bougie in Atlanta, they don't go to work on Fridays, and they go to this event where they got DJs spinning music, and everybody comes and socializes and stuff. I didn't know what I was walking into. I was just going to see my girl for her birthday. But yeah, man, it was the sight of some beautiful people in there. It was nice.
It's called is Skip Day an actual name? Like Fridays are days off? People call it Skip Day?
The party is called Skip Day. So everybody goes out and goes from like 12 to 7 p.m. So the beautiful thing is that we old heads, we was home by like 7, 8. Like I was like, yes. So, I got home and I just went to sleep. It was a beautiful thing.
I don't get invited to parties no more. I don't think I got no friends no more.
You're in a party that's political, so
Except the anarchists. My anarchist friends invite me to their things, and I'm just like, I can't. I don't trust where your food comes from. I'm not down with that dumpster diving shit. So I'm like, well, maybe not.
And then Saturday I DJ'd a repass, so that was cool. You know what I'm saying? They turned up for that. Nowadays people just want to do line dances. They don't even want. You throw in a regular song. They don't know how to dance to it. But line
they all
dance,
getting
the wobble, the cha cha slide, the Tamia song. All it's a whole.
In fact, the last club I went to, I was still too old. We were in Jackson, Mississippi. I think I had to be like about 42 or 43. So with the wife, was with some young. I might have even been with Antar before he was mayor. We were all a big family back then. And it was playing already I felt out of place. It's not, it was like 18-year-old kids, 20-year-olds. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, it wasn't like the line dance that everybody rolled up, but it's like almost like the sorority thing where all these folks are in a row going through the party. Like, so there's like 25 women in a row all doing the same. It was like, what is this, a train? Like, what's happening here?
That's probably the what is it, the deltas or the AKAs do they little
I don't know, but it was at the club. I was like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen like a row of folks just line up just to dance, to do the same step through the, like, you know what I mean, instead of party like on the floor. So that was like
strolling. Yes, big up to all the sororities out there. They you put set it off. That's the AKAs, I believe. Nuck if you buck is the deltas. So certain songs that get them out there and do their dance.
Yeah, it was like crazy looking. I was like, all right, and again, the old head. I was like, I don't need to be here. I don't need to be here.
Like, and don't get in between a line while they do it. They gonna fight you. Real.
No,
For real.
no.
So
Yeah, that was my last one. That was
and
my
then
last one.
Sunday, I took the kids to go see Captain America. Can
I took my kid to see
Can I
Captain
reclaim my
America.
time? Can I reclaim my time, please? Please, can I reclaim it? Oh, how you like it? It was all right.
Well, he wouldn't let me go to sleep, so I couldn't fall asleep on it. Like I like that's what I usually do.
I know, me too.
They wouldn't let me play on my phone, so I couldn't play on my phone. He thought it was mid, and I was like, everybody was waiting for the Red Hulk to come out. I did notice, like, I feel like my man tried to get like a lot of black characters in there, and they tried to get had like the Latino sidekick. So I was like, oh, okay, I see them doing a little bit. I know I didn't want to go support it too. They do have this Israeli character, right, who's also part of their little superhero team, and they're working for the government. So it's a lot of propaganda. But when you're 10 years old, hopefully, so hopefully he missed all that. But there's a lot of red, black. There's a lot of
red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue up in that spot. So it was not. Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the one. Marvel puts out a lot of movies that we can go to as a family. Other movies you can't. So that's what we do. I for that, and also like musicals and stuff like that.
Is he underrated? Someone said Anthony Mackie is underrated. Is he underrated?
I mean, he kind of doesn't switch up the.
Yeah, I don't know if I see him with any emotional range.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like range. A lot of a. Yeah,
it's always that little smile, that little.
Yeah, he looks like a Beatle. He's not like, I don't think he's like, he's not like, I can see why women are into, what's the Michael B. Jordan dude? Oh, yeah. I could see that. I could see that one. But Anthony Mackie's kind of like, I feel like he's average looking.
Oh man, yeah, She Hate Me. That was a hell of a movie right there. That's when I fell in love with my girl.
Anthony Mackie?
What's her name? Anthony Mackie was in She Hate Me.
Oh, was that Spike's movie?
Yeah, that's when he was impregnating all the women. Because they went,
It was Anthony Mackie who was?
Yeah.
Word? I barely remember that movie.
Fell in love.
I think that was a phase where I could no longer look at Spike's movies because they always
Kerry Washington. Yes, that's who I fell in love with in that movie. Good Lord, it's one scene. But anyway,
I thought her best I fell in love with role was when she was with
King of Scotland.
Who?
King of Scotland. With. Oh no!
Oh, he was in King of Scotland.
No, her Kerry Washington.
She was. Yeah. Wasn't that what about Idi Amin?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she was in that.
No, she was.
No, I was going to say the role that I was like, goddamn, was the one with Chris Rock.
Oh yeah, I Love My Wife. I think I Love My Wife.
Yeah. That was the one I was like, oh, well, goddamn.
Yeah.
Who's this? Goddamn. Yeah, that was a goddamn movie.
She done got on some type of diet now. She done lost it. I mean, it's facts. I mean, she done lost it. I was like, damn. Like some people don't need to be vegan. But anyway,
damn.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that was a good weekend. Didn't have the Black Man Lab yesterday, and I ran into big up the Minister Server, ran up this. Minister Server came through, and he asked me a question. He was like, "Can capitalists be revolutionary?"
No.
And you know what my answer was?
You had an answer?
Yeah.
What was your answer?
This is me. As long as you don't exploit the people, you can get money and be revolutionary.
No, that's not a good answer. No.
It is. As long as you don't exploit people, you can get money and you can still.
You have a basic misunderstanding about what capitalism is.
It has to exploit people to be the word.
Capitalism by its very nature is exploitive. And again, everybody with money, with a certain amount of money, probably wouldn't be considered a capitalist. So your man down the block who got a little cash in his pocket, when he flossing, and he may be a wannabe. Mm-hmm. But somebody like Elon Musk, like there's no way that Elon Musk can exist in a society with that type of money and not be not only exploitative, but actually extremely harmful and damaging, right? So folks who own the mean productions, folks who own access to mineral wealth that's privatized, land that's privatized.
I don't get this right here. Getting money equals capitalism. See, that's the craziness right there to me. Just because you're
Yeah, I
getting
mean, you
money,
can
that don't
have
mean you're a
markets.
capitalist.
There's some socialist systems, even Mao, early on, right? Experimented with not complete state control of all aspects of the economy, but small levels of market economy, right? So there are some theorists or some organizers who, when they organize under even a socialist idea, don't think that everything needs to be made through either a collective process or controlled by the government. But again, that's a big difference between that and the ability to collect so much resources off of exploited labor and land, that by its very nature, you're taking the excess wealth that is created by others, by the workers, and putting it in your pocket. And you're of the idea that, oh, I made this, you know.
All
So
right. Well, Dante cleared that up for me. He said it
oh, that
doesn't
it
mean
means not equal to,
yes,
not
yes,
equal to,
yes.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. So I guess I
So
feel
when
you.
you next time you talk to Server, you should have, because I
Yeah,
think Server probably too, who's like he's a working man. He thinks
yeah.
he's a
He's a working
capitalist.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, nah,
yeah,
he's definitely not.
yeah. When he's not here, when he's not on the other channel, chilling over
He's
there, you know what I'm
yeah, he's
saying?
not exploiting none.
Yeah.
But yeah, the topic was reimagining revolution.
And I wasn't invited
I
to
mean,
speak.
I just at the last
Who
minute.
was it? Who? So and Server was speaking on that issue.
No. Server was sitting next over by me.
Oh, who was speaking on that issue?
Maoli was on it, but then we had three
Hmm.
filmmakers.
What the hell they got? Why is that their topic?
I
Y'all
don't
should have
know.
said, y'all should invite me to anything that has to do, because y'all like the one thing I do like is that
Yeah.
you guys are sitting there integrating like
Hmm.
revolutionary and radical thought and people into some of the either workshops or ideas or speeches.
Hmm.
But then I need to follow
Yeah,
through on that. Yeah.
I'll let you. I'll let you know next time. But the one thing I do know about when it comes to filmmakers and stuff like that is we have to have this control over media, because we talking about like them burning books, burning history. So if they're not learning history in schools and stuff like that, then we have to be behind these cameras and filming this media to let them know, okay, this is the story of Mansa Musa. This is the story of Ella Baker. This is the story of different people that
Mhm.
actually their history, their real stories. So because they're all going to be whitewashed, and it's,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying. So it's like that is a revolutionary part that us
Yeah.
as media people have to,
As
record
long
this
as those
history.
media people understand that as artists, as cultural workers, as we like to say to you, right?
Hmm.
Again, another Mao term, as cultural workers, as artists, that folks understand or have a basic understanding of the history themselves, so that they themselves are not making the mistake that others make in terms of how they cast that history, how they show it, whether or not that history reinforces ideas of Americanism as opposed to ideas of fighting back against it. But I agree with you. I think one of the things that we suffer from in terms of movement spaces or organizing is large scale propaganda
Hmm.
operations, right? I mean, obviously we are here on Black Liberation Media,
Yeah.
but we don't have those tools where we are reaching masses of people, and or we don't necessarily know how to create them in a way that reaches folks, right? And that's not that it's easy, but still
Hmm.
that's our job and that's our work. And so we all got to do a better job of that. But I completely agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Culture, artistry is extremely important in terms of moving people to a particular political consciousness, and that culture and artistry, in my opinion, in the opinion of most people who consider themselves revolutionaries, must serve a political
Hmm.
purpose and not just art for art's sake.
Yeah, we was talking about how in times it was outlawed to congregate, how what we were doing there in that room would have been outlawed, reading books would have been outlawed. It's just like the freedoms that we have now, we can't take them for granted, and we got to make sure that we secure this history. And because you can get a lot of money, but if you don't have any history, if you don't have any knowledge of your people and stuff like that, then you're just gonna do what the other people do
Yep.
and not
Yeah.
have something
Yeah.
going
You're
on.
gonna fall into it's all, and it all becomes about making money and
Yeah.
using symbolism that is powerful for Black folks to make money, but not using that symbolism to cause people to be organizers or activists or get involved in movement or think about the world differently.
And then I was thinking about even with the streaming, when it comes to the music part, it's like we need the physical copies of. I went and bought my homegirl for her birthday. I brought her the Lauryn Hill record, the vinyl. So now she actually has something for history. Throughout history, will have this vinyl and can play it. Well, you lose internet. How you gonna play some of your music, y'all?
But the question is for you though, all those days just over. Are you ever going to be able to revive that? Like, there's certain things obviously within the artistry or the cover art or all that kind of stuff that maybe you can't reproduce online. But is that time period over? As in, technology has made it so that folks won't be doing that in mass anymore. And then is there ways for you to adjust, or do you still feel like there's a way to bring that back so that folks are being like, nah, we need that plus this?
You need both. I think you're going to have both of them, because I think more in the future it's going to be less. Like, we're going to be having less of this, that, and the third. Like,
somebody said physical records are still selling well.
Oh, they are.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like looked at as vintage. People.
So like albums or
albums
or CDs
albums.
even, or,
No,
or albums
vinyl.
like vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl.
Oh wow.
So my homeboy down the street, big up to Bago, DBS Sounds. He got a record store. This is his 30th year of having a record store. Like, how do you still have a record store? But good thing it became vintage. So now you got white kids, you got all types of people running in there to go and buy this stuff just so they can have it and be like, "Oh, I got the vinyl." And they selling them little record players like for $30 now at different stores.
So I remember those were real things. Now, like vinyl, vintage. Yeah.
I know.
You wanted, then you had to like, you want to go to the good song.
Yeah.
You had to like put it back on that little line to get it back to the song you wanted to get it on.
Yeah. So that's why I was even able to pull out my turntables right here so I can play a little music when we got some time. So that's what it is. Well, we stalling a little bit to let Kim come. She had to handle some things, but other than that, gotta start this morning off right and have a little dialogue before we get into the news and stuff like that. And you see my brother in the week, so it's good to see you.
It's nice to see you too, my brother. It's nice to see you too.
Yeah. So I guess we could go ahead and get into the weather real quick, and hopefully she'll pop her big head up on the screen in a minute.
Hopefully.
Out loud? My bad.
You did, yeah.
Hopefully
the hair will be done too. We'll see what she's good. Will this be a hat day?
It's a hat day.
It's a hat day, you think?
I bet you it's a hat day.
But she has not done the robes no more, so I appreciate it.
She stopped wearing the gold face.
I think you said something because you said something.
Yeah, I know. Don't
you were right,
though,
but you were right.
I was right. Come on, man. Right. We got to present. This is history. What we're doing here, as in talking about media and making history. This is history right here. Like, people are gonna pull this stuff. Are they going to be able to get to it to pull it up? You know what I'm saying? But what we doing, as we know right now, we are making history right now. So when they look back and see, oh, damn, what did they do for the revolution? There it is.
There it is.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Even though we do more than just get on here and yap, that's part of it.
It's the morning.
Remix morning show. Let's go. Can you feel it? Motherfucking sensation. Yes. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank you all for tuning in. Please, if you can, we got 301 people watching right now. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Become a member over there. Get footage that's rare. And also, you can donate. And share like you care. Right here at blkliberationmedia.org. Go to the site. Go check it out. And go see where that donation button is. And be like, bam, you know what? I'm going to help this thing go and keep going. All right, so let's talk about the weather. I know y'all wondering how it is outside. Let's start off with ATL. We are back, baby. 71 degrees high today. Yes, sir. Beautiful. And not only here, let's go up to DC. DC got a high of 63 degrees, which is not bad at all. It's hoodie weather. So big up to DC. Chicago, you still got to rock layers up there. The high is only going to be 46 degrees. Next, let's take it down to Houston, Texas. Big up to my Houstonians. They got a high today of 70 degrees also. Next, let's take it over to Portland, Oregon. I heard I don't be representing Portland, Oregon, so I'm going to rep them today. They got a high today of 53. Ugh. Next, let's take it to Grenada. Big up to my Grenadians. High of 79 degrees. Nice and warm. And last but not least, let's take you to Cape Town, South Africa. They also have a high of 79 degrees. All right. So with that said, nothing big out here going on. Yeah, no big news, no nothing. I didn't even have time to pull it up. But as I say, we just had a four-fecta, not even a try of different musicians that just passed. So I'm gonna talk about them a little bit later. That said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning. Well, come out. All right, let's get back to it.
There it is. Whoa, I feel it. Ain't it fucking yeah. It's everywhere, baby.
Man, that song is just so hard.
That song was like real good back in the day. I mean, still good now.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the big stories that I did for the thumbnail was this whole your boy Eric Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't see the thumbnail, did you?
No, I didn't look at that.
All right. I believe that he's suing Trump or something like that
He is suing Trump?
for like 80 mil. No.
No, I mean, you could be correct. Do you have a news story connected with that you were bringing that up with?
No, I don't. I figured y'all would. But am I wrong? Leia says no. I don't know.
Is he suing them for money which was taken back from the city?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's that.
Okay. I know it was something. Come on, I be knowing a little something. So
that was random, though. That was kind of random.
It is.
So first thing you should do, since it's going to be you and me for a little bit,
Yeah.
why don't you run that news thing and let's get into some news and you stay on with me and chop it up until your girl comes, because you know I don't like to do it alone.
Yeah. We rock out. Let me find this thing right here. So welcome to the Remix Morning Show as we give you some news. You know what we did last week? We did while you weren't here, we did invite people on the screen.
Oh, you did?
We did a whole show inviting people on the screen.
And were there any good? Was they any good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had people all the way from New York to Carolina to California to UK. We had a guy on from UK.
And some of them were good?
Yeah, everybody except for Zinzabel, but it was good.
She gonna knock you out.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so let's start this way. You know, once again, good morning, everybody. Remix Morning Show here, the Ear Doctor, myself, Kamal Franklin, making my return after a week off. Hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend. Soon to be with us, potentially soon to be with us is Kim Brown, Burn It Down Kim Brown. Mm-hmm. We've just swept into the news segment. If you want to support, go to the website, bokliberationmedia.org. Also Patreon. We got a couple of Patreons that I'm late in putting up because I was away, but I want to put them up today. Okay. So those Patreons will be there for folks. That Patreon is still an important way. Always remember that we have been demonetized as a way of making sure that our channel cannot be supported monetarily, that we cannot pay for the StreamYard and all the other things that we need in order to make these videos work. But it is through your support that we make these videos work, that we keep on moving and pushing these politics and these issues. And it's only going to be through your support that we are able to continue to expand on the work that we are doing. And so I know there's been some great shows that have been up there. Because people were dropping this in the chat, I wanted to start it off with the Joy Reid situation, which I think is interesting. In terms of, this is MSNBC.
Oh, she lost her job, right?
She lost her job, so I didn't want to play her video.
On an unemployment line.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Joy Reid got her job, at least this particular job, after they fired Melissa Perry Harris, or Harris Perry, several years ago, and she replaced her, if I'm not mistaken, and now she's being replaced. So it says part of this reads, Joy Reid's staff had tense meeting with MSNBC chief after learning her show was being axed in media, reports say. So they didn't even MSNBC, which supposedly part of dropping Joy Reid, they dropped other guests who, in some places I've seen them call the left. And I guess that just means they're more left than others, but would we really consider Joy Reid the left? I think the premise of MSNBC, before I read the story, over the last few years has been a Democratic Party outlet. So it supports the Democrats, it supports their positions, and it just goes after Republicans. But is it left of the Democrats? No. So it says MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid's evening news show and held a tense meeting with her staff after news was leaked to the press. The final episode of the readout will air this week. New York Times reported her slot will be replaced by a show led by a trio of hosts, Democratic strategist Simone Sanders Townsend, who I believe was the former either publicist or lead media person for Bernie Sanders, former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Steele, and journalist Alicia Mendez. They currently host The Weekend, which airs on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Rebecca Cutler, the network's newly appointed leader, made the call amid larger plans to overall MSNBC programming, according to the Times. It says now media journalist Oliver Dorsey reports Reid staff found out they were losing their jobs in a tense and emotional 30-minute impromptu meeting Sunday morning. Staffers were reportedly frustrated. They learned about the show shutting down from media reports rather than directly from leadership. It says Reid has hosted the show from 7 p.m. since 2020 and has been with the company since 2014. The network has also removed, and these are the folks that I think they're claiming are somewhat left, Alex Wagner from her weekday evening spot. Darcy reports Cutler held a similar meeting with the show's staff. However, Wagner is expected to stay with NBC as a contributor. And then lastly, somebody said the outgoing Democratic National Committee chair, Jamie Harrison, thanked the network and thanked her, grateful for Joy Reid and her willingness to always provide a forum for voices and candidates often ignored by mainstream media. You are mainstream media, B, so acting like you're not. Says former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms similarly told the Daily Beast, I am deeply saddened that Joyanne Reid, the only African-American woman with her show on MSNBC, will no longer be seen. But others, especially members of the GOP, are celebrating the end of media personality Piers Morgan called her firing long overdue.
Damn.
While journalist Billy Binion accused of her pushing the worst, accused her of pushing, I guess,
the worst kind of journalism.
So there you have it. Joy Reid, whose show I must admit that I never watched. I probably watched twice.
Yeah, me neither.
And when I did push a couple of things here and there, but by no means was somebody that we would consider a left journalist.
I mean, the Republicans is coming through, yo. They like, yo, get out anybody that's disrespectful to our king. Anybody, if they ain't saying something to get against our king, like this is some real back in the day shit, yo.
Yeah, anybody. You've seen like I completely like colleges. Again, these television stations, these shows really start to push rightward. These companies with their we're closing down our DEI policies. Again, never were these things enough to do anything largely for our community, but the little openings that were created, even those are too much. And that's, again, part of the right-wing strategies to make something that's not liberal at all or that's not progressive or left at all seem that way to the outside world, because a lot of their followers are silly enough to believe that stuff. And they become the what's considered the left institution that we have to suggest of fighting for power or rights. When really, again, MSNBC is, I believe it probably still is owned by NBC and or a section of it. They are mainstream media. There is nothing about them that's not mainstream in terms of media. And their outlet has never pushed a left agenda or a radical agenda or an agenda that talks about capitalism and so forth. Their agenda has been getting the Democrats into office or trying to get an audience of people who are part of the Democratic Party, and at least over the last few years. And then prior to that, they were like this middle of the road station trying to challenge CNN for the middle of the road network that claims to be objective. So there's nothing about them that's left, that's radical, that's organizer based. It's really just about pushing the Democratic Party. And now those days seem to be also over.
And it seemed like how Jackie got fired for being non-biased in a way where you have to be like, okay, well, this side and this side. When most of black woman gonna get on and be emotional, she gonna be like, yo, this is how I feel about it, and this is what it is. And they want robots. They don't want you to have no emotions and no feeling towards it. They just want you to be like, this is the news, and you better not promote it like
no commentary.
Yeah, none of that. So,
and this is how these scales do balance. I think. So again, if a Democrat gets back in office, then they'll think they need to satiate that particular, and so then you will see one or two more, right? Mm-hmm. But again, the stories, they may curse out Republicans, like you said. They may say things about Republicans, but their answer is always, you know what that means? That means you got to vote for a Democrat. That's what their answer is. There's nothing left of the Democrats. It's nothing progressive. It's nothing really challenging the system. It's just lifting up another wing of the system. So, so Joy Reid is gone. Y'all got like one more week for those who enjoy to see it, but I'm sure whatever they'll put in her place.
Wait a minute. She got one more week. They letting her stay on for a week?
I think for like 2 or 3, like a goodbye show.
Wow.
Well, she's not going to do anything crazy.
You don't think so?
They got checks. Over. You know what I mean? Like just checks.
Oh man, the
you
last
do something
show
crazy, you might jeopardize a check. So,
I'm saying the last show you got to crash out.
Somebody say no, it's gone. They already did that. Their final episode.
Ricky, you might as well just come on screen, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't coming tomorrow, so you might as well come on screen and let's talk about it.
Oh, I might be wrong. Somebody said that she's already gone. She already did her last episode.
Oh, okay. Damn.
Yeah, they're not.
That's what I'm saying. If you was smart and if you own the station, you don't give them a whole 2 weeks after you fire them. What you mean? If I work at a McDonald's and y'all telling me y'all gonna fire me but giving me another week,
but only if I can hold the check over your head, right? Because that's the whole. If I need you to train that new person, but I'm going to let you go, I'm going to make sure at least when I'm not going to give you that check. But
the black bourgeoisie should have her back, right?
They do, and so the other thing will be that she will now probably have access to. She'll have a YouTube show.
Mm-hmm.
She'll get some other smaller mark. She'll be with Young Turks or something along those lines. Like, you know what I mean? So there's other ways in the way the corporate industry is expanded in terms of media that she won't have the amount of followers or the amount of views, but she'll find some other ways.
I don't think people understand that these are blessings in a way. Like, really, okay, let's stop being on a shit and let's get our own shit. Let's do our own thing and be able to talk how we want to talk.
But for her, she won't. It don't matter. Well, you know what? Let's see if Joy Reid, Unchained, pun intended, will go even further left. I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt it. But let's see what happens with. Because she's got personality, like you said. And these folks are. It's not like these folks are not unsmart people, like they're red or whatever. But they're not revolutionaries.
You got Byron Allen, you got Roland Martins that could give her positions and jobs. I'm just saying, as in people.
Byron Allen. Did you remember when Byron? What was the TV show?
I'm saying he owned all these different networks and stuff. He could give her a show. Like if this is supposed to be the black unity, the black we coming together, where is it?
The only thing I'm saying is that but those folks are still liberals. They still just want Democrats elected. They still just want they want the system to continue. They want to get their part of it, right? They want to get their piece. That's it. They don't care about what happens to the larger community, in my opinion. So they just want to get their piece. That's what they want. So what has Byron Allen done that makes any of us stand up and be like, you know what? Without Byron Allen here, we would not have done ABC or known about ABC, right? What is he? What is he? What is he? He owns the Weather Channel. That's what he bought. Like what black thing has he done that has made you stop and think like, yo,
Byron Allen, though.
If he didn't do that, I would have known about this revolutionary blah 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 blah. Or I never would have known about ABC, right?
Yeah.
Like remember they had the black news station. And they even had my man Mark Lamont Hill. They had some other people. And they had some interesting. Sometimes they had some interesting curves that they did do, but they so tried to stay mainstream. I remember it was owned by an Indian dude, the guy who owned the Jaguars. Jaguars. And that, it was supposed to be this independent black media station, but it did nothing. Well, it did hardly anything, I should say, not nothing, but hardly anything that wasn't situated within how CBS News tries to do their news, or how ABC tries to do their news, or MSNBC. So they don't do anything that's kind of like, thank you, the Black News Channel. They don't do anything that's kind of left of center on their best day, right? So they don't do anything. There's nothing that you have of a memory. If I was talking about this with again, like the last things you might remember the show. Again, not all of his politics were great, but there used to be a time where we did have, I think, particularly like local shows, like It Is with Gil Noble, Tony Brown's Journal, that did explore the Black experience coming out of the Black Power movement. In those shows, particularly like a Gil Noble, they talked about radical politics. They talked with people in movements, and all over New York, you could see that. You could see movement leaders at that time coming on air, talking about African Black art, the Black art arts movement, talking about Black politics, talking about movement and organizing, talking about radical Black history, Panthers, talking about COINTELPRO, talking about the murdering of Malcolm. All of that you would get from these local shows. But past the 70s, all those shows were like slowly sunset, or the host got, obviously we're older, retirement. They never brought anybody who wanted to replace them, right? They never brought anybody back on these shows to say like, oh, let's get a new generation, a new crop of these kind of hosts. And again, the closest thing, like, and I would say in a mainstreamish type of way that they have is probably something along the lines of when Mark Lamont Hill gets on mainstream media. And then you even see when Mark expresses opinions around Palestine, that those opinions which are expressed leads to his actual firing, right? So all that stuff is happening.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you got certain members on your cabinet and in your team that's controlling social media and this, that, and the third, it's just like, you got to watch your fucking talk. You got to watch what you say around here now.
So I didn't get to see this. I heard about somebody else mention this to me too, that Diallo did some serious criticism. Is it serious? Is it? It's funny how people keep talking about us after they're gone from us. We don't talk about them.
We don't.
But they keep talking about us.
I mean, it's forward motion over here. That's what we do, man. I mean, big up to all those that had the time yesterday.
Yeah, it's to incorporate us into their shows and
more promotion. More promotion. You know what I'm saying? Let me go find out why he said that. Oh, come on over. Hit the like button while you're here. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
So I got one more story before we could do a little break or something like that.
All right, cool.
So apparently, and this is one of these stories for me that's a little sad. I'm not going to make too much fun, but Mid-South native Alice Marie Johnson appointed as President Trump's pardon czar. And so people know the story that it says here in this news report, it says that as a Mid-South native who spent more than 20 years in prison is living a life she never could have imagined. Alice Marie Johnson was pardoned by Trump in 2020 and has since being released from prison. Her work to help others in similar situations has been unwavering. She now has a role on his staff as a pardon czar. Action News 5 spoke with her before church on Sunday morning to discuss faith and her new position with the Trump administration and moving the Mid-South forward. It says to return, a quote from her, I guess, to return back and be able to make a difference in lives of others to help restore communities. This is, it's surreal, but it's real. God does things, so you will know that only He did it, said Miss Johnson. Johnson says life feels full circle after being named the pardon czar in the Trump administration. To go from being the daughter of former sharecroppers to now being an advisor to the president of the United States of America. Who could do that but God? She's really into God. She spent more than 20 years in prison for drug-related charges in the 90s. In 2018, she was released from prison after her sentence was commuted. She received a full pardon from President Trump in 2020 and got right to work. I helped many, many people gain their freedom, almost 50. I submitted over 100 clemency petitions. I worked nonstop. I worked with Ivanka Trump. I worked with Jared Kushner. I worked with Gerard Smith. I worked with Pam Bundy, the new attorney general. We have a very strong relationship, and she can also vouch for the work that they can also vouch for the work that I do. So I'm not a novice doing this. So when Johnson visited Mar-a-Lago 2 weeks ago and Mr. Trump was there, she says faith has coincided with purpose. Johnson says that during Trump's previous administration, she took every opportunity to talk to him about the people she was advocating for. She also says it's equally important that the same people are being set up for success post-release. And on this part, it says, I know firsthand of solutions that we need. It's very easy to talk about people when you haven't walked in their shoes and you have a theory about what works. Well, I've spent 22 years. I've got my doctorate in prisonology. So she laughs. I've got the master stamps, points up on my life, who used me in prison for the women, not only to mentor them, but also discipline them, said Ms. Johnson. Johnson acknowledges the polarization of the current administration regarding her new role. I'm not looking to the right. I'm not looking to the left. I'm looking to those who need help in our communities that need to be rebuilt, said Johnson.
What say you about this?
It's one of those, again, yeah, it's, I'm not going, this woman spent 20 something years in prison. Obviously should not have been locked up if at all, particularly for that amount of time. It was Trump who came to her rescue and gave her a new life outside of prison. But she's also being used as a tool, as a publicity tool. And yes, she's going to be able to help some people and thankful for that. But she's also going to be held up as somebody who, as she did in this article, sort of giving favor or giving positive reviews to Kushner, to Trump, to some of these other people who, as you help those 50, Trump is busy laying off thousands of government workers. Most of those folks are, well, not most of those folks, a good proportion of those folks are Black people, Black women, Black men. And now those folks are losing, their houses, whether it's mortgages or through rent or other things that they don't have anymore. And so those people are now going to suffer. And so now she's being used as a sort of tool to be like, look, I have this person who will speak highly of me that's from the Black community. And look at all what I've done for her. Look what I've done for the Blacks. And she's going to stand up there and give it a thumbs up, right? So this is the kind of tool that somebody who is grateful, right? And the Democrats have their own tools that they'll use also for these things. But this is somebody who's being used basically to lift up, to basically lift up Trump and Trump's policies and politics, and always claim now, oh, this person did some good things. Look what this person did. And try to eschew all the negative, all the bad, all the mass firings that are taking place under this administration, all the other ways in which people who have had access to college through loans or grants, you just cut the United Negro College Fund, the resources that they get from the federal government. So again, this is not within the struggle of a revolutionary struggle, but this is within the struggle of people who are living their everyday lives, trying to survive. And that's all being cut from under them. And now they got somebody who's going to come up here and go like, yo, he's not that bad. Look what he did for me. Yeah. Him and God. Look what they did for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm free now. I can help these people. Look at the people I've helped. And now they get shown as this example, and people get confused by that. Unfortunately, people start to think that that's like, oh, that's so fantastic. How can you talk that bad about this person? Well, you can't talk bad about him because you can see that this is a cover.
Yeah. I mean, he knows how to pick the right ones to put out in front of the people and be like, yo, big up Trump. He go find the rapper Kodak Black, and he's like, okay, well, let me go pardon him and get him out of jail. He'll go big up me for the youth and shit like that. And then you know, when you play basketball, it's a thing called buddy ball. You ever hear this?
Nah.
So pretty much you pick a person that you know to be on your team. It might be some good players out there, but you're going to pick the people you know, even though you might get washed. So your boy Trump is really playing buddy ball right now. He's picking the right people that's going to represent him, even to your boy that's the podcaster that he now appointed to the FBI.
Oh, the Indian dude, the crazy dude.
Yeah. Like, what credentials do you have to be working for the FBI? You're a podcaster. Like, I'm like, yo, this dude is just grabbing whoever and putting them in places to be like, represent for me.
Yeah, it's all about loyalty for Trump. Like, it's not about, I mean, and obviously people have brought this up, the irony of talking about diversity, inclusion, as if people are getting jobs and work and access to things they don't deserve. You have all of these, like white boys and others, who are getting access to these positions strictly on their loyalty, strictly on the fact that they will put through Trump's ideological position, or not Trump's, the people around Trump's ideological positions, which some of these folks may hold. But this has nothing to do with qualifications. It has nothing to do with whether or not people are deserving. This is all about a white nationalist government that's come to power, that's handpicking its leaders so that they can go and do the things that they want to do in terms of keeping, creating what I would call a pecking order. And so going back to sort of like not exactly a Jim Crow, but going back to the idea overtly again, not subvertly, but overtly going back to the idea that there's a particular pecking order in this country. And you better believe the people on top of that pecking order are white men, white women, and then below you can take your pick, whatever like that. But for black folks, for immigrants, for LGBTQ folks, very low on the pecking order. And the people who will most suffer under this administration, both overtly and covertly, right? So I think we just entered this period where this kind of sort of white nationalist government is on the rise, both here in the United States and in Europe. And again, feels unchained. It is able to do what it wants to do as it wants to do it. And there's nobody that's really stopping it, right? There's no force out there that's powerful enough to stop it. And the left itself, again, is struggling to figure out like how to organize against this. And you're left with a weak Democratic Party, which of course is only looking to get itself back in power. So I think there's all of these things that are happening right now that, and somebody like this Alice person, again, becomes a perfect, like, oh, let's just put this person up here. This might even be, to my knowledge, the first black face in this administration that I've seen so far. So the idea that even having black folks in the administration for cover, which, he did last time, like they used to always reserve HUD for a black face. I don't know who's HUD now. But HUD was always like that position that you can get as a black person or some.
Wasn't that Van Jones or something last time?
No.
Oh, somebody. I remember it was somebody.
Not for. I think it was Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. Yeah. That's right, Ben Carson.
So, but he's not even doing that this time. So I just feel like he's like, again, just unleashed in terms of the white nationalism and how that nationalism works. So I think that's all part of what we're coming to right now.
Welcome to America, y'all. This shit is crazy. All right, so I guess it's time. I guess Kim ain't coming through. Ricky, where you at? All right, anyway, let's go ahead and take another quick break and hit you on the head with some more after that. We might do a whole show today, Kamel, you never know.
I'm down. I'm gonna get me some other stories that I like.
Please do, because I ain't got
it.
All right, we're gonna take a break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah.
I heard he sang a good song.
All right, welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Air Doctor. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please make sure y'all hit that like button. We got 428 people watching live. Big up to all y'all out there. yeah, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there. Get footage that's rare. And also, you can go to blkliberationmedia.org and donate. We are demonetized, like Kamal said. And this is the only way we can make sure that we keep going here. So thank y'all for your support. All right, boom. So I was out in the street, and you know, I run into different people, DJing. So I was just scrolling, and I see my homegirl had a new video. And I was like, oh, word? You know, I got to work with her like years ago, back in the early 2000s, always on the scene doing her thing. She goes by the name of Stacey Epps. So she got a new video she's dropping, so I wanted to go ahead and give her shine. So let's get to it right here. Stacey Epps, y'all.
Rising through the light, feel it in my mind. I can't wait for you to come from love, pure love. Let the love inside you, feel it all around you. Nothing ever stop you. Keep going. You have the light inside you. Let it shine through.
All right, big up Stacey Epps. Go check her out. She got a bunch of dope songs floating. You could go the I. She got a bunch of dope songs. Go check her out, Stacey Epps on YouTube. Some bangers. All right, big up to new music. Big up to artists constantly putting out some good things. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life.
Come on, y'all.
With his words, killing me softly with his song.
Are you gonna get us banged for that? Are we gonna get banged for that?
Hey man, sometimes you just
You got to take a chance.
you gotta take a chance. We're demonetized.
Are you going to do a larger one on her, like in one of the break?
Yeah, classical
You got that
breakdown coming. Yeah, we actually were supposed to do classical breakdown with Kim, but I was having computer issues over here, and we was doing it on Ohio Players, so we gonna bring that back this week and do it Ohio Players this Thursday instead. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think the week after that, I might as well do some Roberta Flack. Why not?
Well, you should. What you should do, since I know you want my advice,
Sure.
is you should delay the Ohio Players, and then you should do her this week, since she's like, she's the person who just passed away.
Sounds good. That means extra work. Okay. That's all I heard when you was
That's
talking.
what the news business is. You got to be like, what's the latest thing that's happened? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some other businesses too. So I see
damn!
if
No.
I can fit it in my schedule. You're running me ragged over here. I'm doing a whole show today.
Bad.
No,
And
that's
we
all
still are
good.
talking about, I don't know if we're going to go through with this, but we still, just to let y'all know, so we have had some conversations about expanding the Remix Morning Show to Mondays also. So there are some conversations that the Remix Morning Show may go 5 days a week. Now, I know that's hard to believe considering the dearth of hosts that we sometimes have come on. But,
wait a minute.
Wait
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God. It's a dream come true.
Are we about to do this right here? Ladies and gentlemen, coming back like he never left, Jerry Ball.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
Y'all are funny, man.
The
What's up?
Three Stooges up this bitch once again.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
The Three Amigos.
It's good to see you all again. No, it's been too long. So I
You heard me struggling? Was that it?
no.
heard.
No. I haven't heard anything. I was because my schedule has gotten so jacked up that I'm running all over the place, and then I was like, I said, wait, it's only 9 o'clock and I'm done.
Wow.
Let me see what's up. So I don't know what's going on. So I saw it was just the two of you. So I said, man, it's perfect. I haven't seen the fellas. Let me.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? So
Man.
this is great. What's up to the remixers? What's up to chat?
Look at
People
that.
I
saying
miss
the
y'all,
beige-
man.
The beige is back.
The beige is back,
The
baby.
beige is back.
The Beijings.
The Beijing. You know what I'm saying? You know, yo,
Word.
yeah, it's good. It's good, man. But the world been conspiring on your boy's schedule. That's what's. That's
You
what
got a lot to take care of. You got a lot to take care of out there.
Yeah, man.
Hickory Ridge.
Speaking of
Village
which, you got a
Board,
whole
Morgan State.
just to do this on air, which is like unprofessional, but when will I ever? So the the National Black Radical Conference is coming up. Jared, you've been two things that you're on schedule to do, which I haven't informed you of yet.
Oh.
So can you please make sure that you're
Got him.
May 30th, May 31st and June 1st is open. I'll be hitting you with details. You're
Got
gonna get
him.
a flight and a hotel.
Nice.
Just letting you know, B. Just letting you know. Sorry about
Yes.
that. I meant to send a letter. I got to
You
send a
can't back out live on air.
You sure can.
Them
I forgot
Brooklyn
you.
niggas, boy, I swear.
And I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, shit, there's nothing there. So I guess.
Oh,
I
good
guess,
job. All right. All right.
I guess
I'll
I
inform
gotta
you
do
later
it.
on of all the details.
No, that's funny though. That's perfect. That's how the revolution happens. Oh, by the way,
I need to take your calendar up and we went to the great state of, is it India? Where's that state? Indianapolis?
Indiana.
Indiana. Ooh, the Hoosiers.
I've never been to Indianapolis. Have either of you been there before?
I've not even known the reason why we
can't
go
even
to
pronounce it right.
Indiana. Yeah.
I've been to
have
Gary
never been.
once. I have been to Gary. Salute to
Did
Gary.
you go to the Michael Jackson house on Jackson Street,
No.
anything like that, or no?
No, I wasn't there long. I was there. I was there to do a talk, and then got a quick tour of Gary and saw the town. You can like look right down the street. You can see the town the white folks created when Gary got too black, and they were like, "Let's just get out of here." And they took all the money and the resources. So it's almost like you're driving down the road, and it goes from like all grayed out and dusty, and then it just goes into the light. It's all of a sudden it's like stores, and it's like, wow, the white folks, they were really they were really whiting it up. They were.
Speaking of visiting places, it looked like you just came from seeing Malcolm X. Is that true, JB?
Well, I was at the I was at the Audubon, or the Malcolm X Dr. Betty Shabazz Center briefly last week, and which is again surreal because it's always weird to walk in. No, there was Kahindi Andrews is taping a documentary, so he asked me to come through, and I and I hope it turns out well. I don't know, I don't know. I trust him, but I sometimes feel like it these things can get a little difficult, and he was there also to interview Ilyasa Shabazz, who runs the center now. And, the contradictions are, with all due respect, I mean, she does not have Malcolm's politics. So it's like a very, so like you go in her office and there's T.D. Jakes and Hillary Clinton on the wall and of course, the Spike Lee love and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like,
Oh, that's hard. That would be
yeah,
hard.
I mean, yeah. So so and then it's always weird being in this space. It's just weird walking in there, and it's like, damn, like it's all pretty now and everything, and they're still rebuilding, and it's like, but like one of the worst things ever happened in here, and it's just weird. It's just very weird.
I've been there once or twice before leaving New York, and I think I did one panel there, and they had this big the statue of Malcolm. They obviously, I think at the time they the first time I went there, they highlighted the actual space where Malcolm was assassinated at, but they hadn't done something with it. You know what I mean? Like the actual stage area or whatever. And I haven't been back there since. But very similar. I think I know some other folks who are on the board. And you're always, again, it's like this space, and you're like, could it be more than? But it's, it's one of it becomes like the King Center, where it's the space of resources come in, tributes of various kinds. They apply for government programs of funding, but it doesn't necessarily get used in a way in which, because and maybe it's not fair, right, to expect the kids to have the politics of the parents, particularly when the parents were who they were. But what you don't want to happen, and I'm not, well, I am saying that it's happening, but you don't want to happen is to have these kids take control of the legacy or image and then try to make it or reshape it into their politics that they feel safe with, that they think means that they may get some access to resources, as opposed to the revolutionary politics. I hate when I hear people say something like they always start off talking about Malcolm. Oh, you did this, and you just did this. You just did this with this dude, Stephen A. Jackson, right? Stephen A. Smith, right? Who talked about Malcolm wasn't violent. It's like it's the opening statement of every liberal Black person who talks about Malcolm. The first fucking word out their mouth is Malcolm wasn't violent. It's like, it's like, why does that got to be stated to make you feel like, who's that making feel comfortable, right? So, yeah.
And then they quickly turn it into the black capitalist thing. He wanted us to have control over our communities, which means you supporting my business. And, they leave it. But I was wondering, like, how do you maintain that space? Because going uptown, like, you go to New York, any city now, it's always weird if you haven't been there in a while. And you go uptown and it's like, wow, this is. So how do you maintain that space in the ever gentrifying New York and uptown New York? It's like, and then what would you have to do to keep the space?
Mm-hmm.
And then so it becomes, it can't be a space that's going to accurately project and recruit, future Malcolms. It can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes something that I think ultimately, unfortunately, testifies against the person it's meaning to commemorate. And it's like, but.
Or it could do that on certain nights. Maybe Friday, Saturday night could be revolutionary night and leave. And the other days could be bourgeois black night. I don't know. But I agree, because it's going to probably it takes a lot of money to run that space. It takes the employees, from technical staff to cleaning staff, that it takes to keep that going. And then but again, I think even with that, there's the caveat of how much money do you actually need to maintain, and how much money do you need to make bread off of it, right?
That's the question.
To make it into this other space. Mm-hmm. Because the money that they're getting probably from some of these banking institutions, from the government, from private corporations, it's doing more than just, the hope is that it's going to do more than just maintain, but it's going to pay some executive director salaries, some other directorship stuff that I think will further mean or erode even the possibilities of, like, do organizations get to have meetings there? Do they get to do programs there? And again, sometimes it sounds like they do have. Still, they're in touch with certain radical ideas and individuals and organizations that get to have space there to use it to talk about Malcolm and or to talk about things in the community. But the offset is, how often can that happen, and what the other ideas are that they want them to have with it.
And then with the lack of history being taught now, how many people are even going to be taught about Malcolm X? Like, in the future, how many kids are going to be going to be like, oh, Malcolm X, I know about him a little bit. Let me go to this museum and find out about it.
Well, I will say, and so that, and I think that is part of the task of, again, us and others. Mm-hmm. And I think some folks are taking this up, is like, what we got in school was bullshit anyway, public school, whatever. So it is on us to do that work, and for others to do that work, because you're right. Even the small kernels of things that people got in school that might have lit some other interest in them, those are being taken away.
Yeah, because we at least learned about Malcolm in Black History Month. At least Black History Month, we learned. Like,
you got one little thing about Malcolm in
a smidgen. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it. You got like, if you got like a Nat Turner that was like half a paragraph, and he was violent or he was crazy.
It was always Harriet Tubman.
You got a Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, Martin Luther King.
You got Martin Luther King.
W.E.B. Du Bois. Did I say that right? Du Bois.
Du Bois.
Boss.
Yeah. Du Bois.
We be Du Bois.
We be Du Bois. Yeah. That was it. Oh, and we can't forget the Peanut Man.
Yeah, you got Carver. I remember a lot of George Washington Carver. Yeah. I would not know shit about George Washington Carver if it wasn't for public school. Malcolm, yeah, never heard of him in public school, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing much about Malcolm in public school. And then, but again, the form, it wasn't until I read the autobiography or started listening to some of that late 80s, early 90s hip hop that I started to think of him in any kind of radical way, even though I'd been seeing like his book was on our shelf in the house for all my childhood, but I just never was, you know, and you know, but we talked. So the second part of the trip last week was that I did go up to the Africana Studies and Research Center for another Malcolm X related event, and which was interesting. And a lot of the discussion there was around how this question: how is Malcolm being taught, and what versions are we getting, and what's the impact of it? Because there is a slick way where you can mention him and present him and not invite anyone to some sort of radical conclusions, hence the Spike Lee film and all these other documentaries and whatnot. So like there is this, and it is pretty slick. Now I heard, let me share this real quick, because I heard the same weekend after I left, later that weekend, there was some sort of commemorative event happening that I was told was going to involve, I think Al Sharpton got
Whoa. Who
some
is
kind
that
of an
person?
award. I don't know who that person. Let me refresh
what
this
I was
because it's like a slideshow of people. Although now it's not working, so I don't know. I just was going through this. So, but anyway, there's a slideshow. Mark Lamont Hill was there. Ben Crump was there. I forgot the rest. Now it's not. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Let me bring this back
please
up.
bring that back up if you can. That looks crazy.
So it starts here. You see it already transitioning from Ben Crump. I don't want to try to restart it. And
Yeah.
But Ben Crump is there. Ilyasa Shabazz was the first one. Ben Crump. Now Mark Lamont Hill. Jasmine Crockett. So this was the 20 for the commemorate. I don't know who that is. I think we know who she is.
I know. Yeah.
I know who Aja Monet is, at least as a person.
Really
I'm not familiar with dude here.
I've seen him.
Not
before.
familiar.
Don't
I'm
know
not familiar with him either. Obviously, we know Ayanna, and I'm not familiar with any of these two. And then, but I saw there was some text somewhere I just saw. So Ariane Simone is I don't know who she is. She gave the talk though, apparently.
She gave some remarks.
But there was something. Anyway, I'll keep looking for it. But I was told that Al Sharpton was being given some sort of like lifetime achievement award
At that event?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So I don't know if I was misinformed. He wasn't in that slideshow there, but anyway, we'll see. Maybe Mark Lamont Hill will have someone.
If not at that one, and some other one. That's the like I just don't understand. Well, I do understand. Let me not put it like that. The question more is like how to get away with it, and just is it just to put your name to be associated with Malcolm? Obviously, the family allows again this opening to take place, but it's not for any real. For me, it's just not for any real significant purpose except for them to attach their name to Malcolm, and at the same time, like you say, they'll say like, "Hey, Malcolm, human rights leader, civil rights leader." Malcolm, I mean, they'll even say like Malcolm, self-defense. You might get that might be the most radical part of his politics, that even gets lifted up at all. But it'll quickly devolve into, and Malcolm didn't hate people. He was not a hater of people, that kind of thing. He fought for our civil rights and our human rights. And then that's it. And that's it. And that's it. And then
that's basically it. And then they have to remind us that he got shot by some of his gangster Muslims.
That's true.
That's always, they got to throw that in there.
It was all an internal conflict.
Yeah, all of it.
It was all egos and dislike. Yeah, it was all
all of that. So yeah. It's. But by the way, so I meant your name came up this weekend, so I'm glad I had this chance to pop up here, because I did talk about a live reinvention, and I talked about a point you raised in your essay in that book where you, and I want to say you're one of the first people I've seen, maybe from the circles I've run in, where someone would publicly be willing to raise some sort of criticism of Malcolm's behavior in the press, in poking the bear, so to speak, with the Nation of Islam, and going back to review some of the speeches this last couple days, I was like, you know what? In some of these interviews, it was like, oof, I don't know. Was that
necessary?
But then, from his, but then I was like, but they, from his perspective, they're bombing his house and threatening his kids. And I guess at that point, it's like, but I did, so I mentioned you in some of the discussions we had this weekend up at the Africana Studies and Research Center. And then, and then the other point that you've raised around George Jackson came up at dinner. I had to give you credit for that one too. Because I can't stop thinking. I mean, I honestly, that question of like the level of thuggery or whatever to take over a prison, like it's like, woo.
People got hurt.
What would you?
What you got to do?
What you got to do? What are you prepared to do? And it's like, wow. So yeah, so I was like, I was like, Kamal was raising a serious question, and but salute to some of the folks, man. I as I keep saying, I was a little bit inspired by some of the younger scholars coming up up there. People, there is hope in some of these ivory tower spaces. I think that we might get some good analysis. Going forward. So yeah, but anyway,
real quickly on the thing. So for folks who don't know, like, sort of the critique, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, what you like about Malcolm was whether or not he needed to engage in the back and forth, right, at the level that he did, and to bring, knowing, like you said, it would poke the bear, or knowing that it could lead to, or that it would not be cooling things out. Let's put it like that. It would be putting him in further jeopardy and or danger. And it would be turning his efforts more inward for dispute rather than the work that, he obviously was trying to continue to do. Now, who knows? Like, it could have made no difference. He could have been silent and not said anything and just kept it moving, and they still would have been like he deserves to die, kind of thing, right? And obviously with the government handlers egging it on, wasn't like he could just like maybe not say anything. I don't know. But I think it's worthy of discussion and back and forth around that level of the name calling that Malcolm engaged in, which again he even critiqued himself as part of like how, when we talked a little bit about that, the dirty water thing and the clean glass of water, how Malcolm liked his response to at least in the autobiography, to the clean water thing was like he liked to point out how dirty the water was, kind of. So it was kind of like in his nature, right? But does that, and for lessons today, someone brought up something around some critique that Diallo made and other critiques that we've received of Black Liberation Media. It's like, do we necessarily have to take the time to respond to every critique, issue raised and or hurt feelings or anger that's expressed against us? Or should we keep it moving and do the work and try to continue to organize and not see these things as that we necessarily have to respond to everything, but we need to be organizing, and some of these things are sideshows. And so I think that, if I'm remembering correctly, was kind of like on that tip of like, was that necessary?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that comparison is interesting. It was uncomfortable to go back and watch Malcolm in some of these, I'm thinking of the one he did with the Canada Broadcasting Company, like a week before he's assassinated. And he's sitting there talking to two white men about all that he thought Elijah Muhammad was wrong about, not just with the secretaries, but in terms of the land issue and Black nationalism. And in that moment, I did feel just the other day, like, dang, like, I wish he was able to have that conversation with some other in a different setting. Like, what do two white boys from Canada? How are they going to really appreciate this question of nationalist land redistribution, whatever, like, are they, especially as they sit on indigenous people's stolen land, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, are they going to be sensitive to a discussion of people getting land back? It's like, so it's like, and then you could also just see them in the context, of us, today being on YouTube a little bit and all this. It's like, you could see them thinking, this is going to be good for views, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the likes going to be way up on this joint after Malcolm finished talking this shit, and it's like, damn. But again, I'm thinking 39 years old, your house been bombed, your kid's been threatened. Yeah. It's like, who's going to be, thinking all these things through perfectly and whatever. And then it's that attitude of, fuck everybody. Like, like I'm going at everybody, so yeah. But at least in terms of, when we can step back, it is. The other thing is, it is hard to deal with some of the criticism and how to respond. And there's an issue right now that I'll talk with you about during the break. Like, how do you respond, or in what ways should you respond publicly to what others are saying publicly or not saying publicly? And I'm not always, I should say never. I'm not always sure what's the best way to handle it.
Now, I mean, whatever level of criticism that somebody like me gets that rises to a level of it being important. I think sometimes it, I think somebody said this in the chat. Obviously, I don't all criticism or all critiques are not bad, right? There's things that you can learn from it, obviously. And sometimes it also depends on the nature in which that criticism or critique is being offered. One, two, when people are taking shots at you because they want to take something that you either started or did, or take credit for work that they don't necessarily deserve. That's kind of harder to sit back and be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So, but again, if the thing that I think a much different response at 57 than maybe even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. I have been more chill on taking criticism, to be honest, or not responding in the ways in which I think we had. I'll talk a little bit about, like, when someone tried to coup me in my organization and they put a letter out, and then my first thing I called you. It was you might have been the first person I was like, B. Let's do a show. Let's do a show. I'm gonna read all that shit. On, put it up. Let's do it. And the people had to gather around me with my peoples. They were like, nah, like, you don't want to do that. You want to respond.
And I already had the thumbnail in the studio set. I was ready. I was like, don't call me. I'm not the one to call. I'm not.
You're like, you want to go on now? Let's go on now. So what I did was I pulled back, and I did a response letter and sent it to the people who I guess they sent their thing to. And then there's other things like that. But instead of even when the other network was the RBN or whatever, when they said some shit, I was like, all right, I'm just going, again, unless it's like in the moment. If it's in the moment, it might be different for me, right? That's different if it's in the moment, and then it's not going to be chill like in the moment, obviously, right? It's not like I'm going to be a big drawback. It might take a few minutes of some arguing before something gets pulled back or whatever. But I think at this point, if I have time to think about it and I think through, like, does this really affect me? Does it impact me? Is it something that's going to derail me from the things that I think are important to do or organize? Then I'm going to, again, when I have some good people around me who can help me, or when I just think it through, I'm much more likely to be like, all right, I'm that's they in their own head, right? They thinking about me. I'm not thinking about them. I'm doing this other work. So let me just do this other work. And if I'm here as an organizer, or that's whatever the function is that I'm here as, me proving them wrong will be in the work that gets produced. Or you can sit down and judge. If you think the work is being produced is useless or whatever, but at least there's work being produced that you can see and judge in that way. And so I've been a little better at it over the last few years than I was when I was a little younger. But it's all about time, place, and
We all works in progress. We all
yes, we all work.
and Zenzabel, I've already shared with you, so you are already up on this if you are so concerned. But it looks like, speaking of sharing and spreading goodwill on the ones and twos, and
hey, Kamal, call me when you ready to run up. You know what I'm saying? When you ready to run
you
up,
run up, dude.
Yeah, I'm the most athletic out of all of y'all. What do you mean?
I meant run up, not athletic, nigga. I meant run up as in you, like, are you like I'm gonna handle this, dude. Are you that dude?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Come on, man. They only call me then. That's when you call me.
That's when they give you a call when it's ready for some time for some action.
Because I don't think. I just be like, let's go. All that overthinking, not me. Let's go. Let's do it. We'll figure it out on the way. Somebody asked me, do I plan? I'm like, nope. I just do and make it happen. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, everybody. We just been making it happen. All right, so let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. I'm interested to hear what's going on here, so y'all get it together backstage, and let's get it right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show, y'all, as we get into a quick remix, because I've been inspired by my people's coming back. Let's do it like this. Remix on the remix, y'all.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. Boys are back in town. 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 Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
Once again, hit that like button. But let me tell you about who we mixing together today. Let me take y'all to a time of 1976. We're talking about Tin Lizzy. Album Jailbreak. Name of the song is Boys Are Back in Town. Mixed with a little bit of 1993. Return of the Boom Bap, KRS-One. Name of this song is Higher Level. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. Not Patreon. Yeah, patreon.com. Become a member over there and get footage that's rare. Also, you can donate at blkliberationmedia.org. That is how you help us since we are demonetized. And yes, once again, let's get back to our crew because
boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Boys are back in town.
I know that song.
Oh, that's what's up.
I don't know that group. Who's that group?
Tin Lizzy.
I don't know that.
They're white. I think that one guy ain't white though.
That lead singer was mixed with something.
Yeah.
But the dude in front.
something.
He was something. He definitely. He looked like Oates from Hall and Oates. Like you don't know what he is.
It's something in there.
It's something.
it's something in there.
He had a little bit more though.
Huh?
Nah, so this
a little bit more. He had a little bit
talk,
more than Oates.
Yeah, whatever Oates got.
Did you know they were beefing all these years? I didn't know Hall and Oates were beefing all these years.
Oh yeah. They won't even go on tour
that.
no more.
Yeah.
There's like lawsuits and everything. They in court.
Damn.
I had no idea.
And you know how much money they'd be making right now if they was on tour? Come on.
Which John, like if I was John though, I would chill. I mean, you got to chill in that position. What are you going to do, V?
But he seemed to have the more aggressive stance from what I saw in one of these YouTube things that he feels. Yeah, it's like I thought the same thing. I was like, dude, he's the face and the voice. Like,
and he wrote most of the songs, I think, too.
Well, that's the other thing. He wrote that's like, so it's like, what is the So it's like that time. I think I've shared before that time I got the ride to the airport from one of the members of 98 Degrees. And he was talking about how the more famous dude was holding up the tour. And it like the whatever tour. Because I remember I was like, we were at some conference and he was giving me a ride to the airport. And I was like, I gotta ask, dude. And he was like, I know. I was like,
damn, I've been recognized.
Well, he had already talked a little bit about, because I didn't recognize him. I didn't listen to that shit, but they told me he was in this boy band. So the whole weekend, so by the time I got in the car, I was like, I got it, because I'm curious about, I was like, you were that, like, what's it like to be that famous? Like, it must be wild. So he was like, yeah, I was on tour, on stage with Beyonce and all this. It was like, it's weird. It's like, but yeah, Nick Lachey, Elon, thank you. He said Nick Lachey is holding up the thing. He was like, and apparently they were all friends from back in the day. They went to some Ohio, like, art school together or whatever. I didn't know all that stuff. They were like, and he said, yeah, he's like, and I'm sitting there thinking, because you're right, because no disrespect, but you were driving me to the airport in something I might drive. You know what I mean? This is like my car. I'm like, you're supposed to be.
No, and we all used to think, like, what does John do in the band? Like he would play the guitar, whatever, but he would background sing a little bit, but I never really heard his, it was always the other dude whose voice, like it was Dow, like it was his voice or whatever. But the big other thing is that you don't without Hall and Oates, I don't remember any song that Daryl Hall did by himself that was worthy of any comment or commentary or like it's in your head or it got a lot of radio play, maybe one little one or something like that. So it's like, so he obviously needed a dude, like, I don't know if he was an inspiration or he would come in and say something or whatever it was, but he obviously had some intrinsic value. It just wasn't shown on screen.
But if Daryl Hall showed up to your town, like he being the face and the voice, he could say, like, you're going to get one night with Daryl Hall. And then he could sing all those songs. Yeah. Like he could get some band or whoever to play. Like, it's not
In fact, that's what he's doing now. That is exactly what he's doing. He is going on tour. Because I listen to like the 80s pop music station on, so it's like he's going on tour with some other dude who I never heard of or whatever. And
wow.
I'm sure of course he's going to do all those songs. And people will go because it's like it's his voice.
I mean, ain't that like Eric B and Rakim? You know what I mean? Rakim go and do his thing. Do you really need Eric B?
No.
And if Eric B said he's showing up, maybe you go to see like a DJ set with a famous DJ, but it's not like.
But it's not the same thing. Yeah.
Hell no. You wouldn't go to an Eric B show. No disrespect.
Yo, speaking of,
up there doing
guess who came? Guess who came to City Winery to do a show? Terminator X. Like, who's gonna go see?
Oh wow. And I roll with like,
or he was doing more than DJing.
I don't know, but I'm like, what does he do besides scary?
And my little crew is like Kamau hater levels. They're like, he wasn't even good back then. Like, who was looking like as a DJ? Who was checking for Terminator X back then? It wasn't wiki. It's like
I know. Only when Chuck mentioned his name. That's my DJ Terminator. And then it's like, oh, okay. But I'm not saying he wasn't good, but it was like, would I go to a Terminator X show?
Nah.
Man, everybody getting that bag. The Rolling Stones are still playing tours. I live near Merriweather Post Pavilion, so I see like the summer shows because you get one black show at the beginning and one sort of black one at the end, and then everything else is just. And it's like a lot. Like all these hair bands are going on last tours. You can see whoever one more time. It's like cats are like, we at the end. Let's get one more.
Let's get one more check. And the Rolling Stones have been perfecting that for decades.
I mean, damn, dude.
My man is like 90 years old, literally. And he's taking something because they're saying that he's hot. I've never seen him. They're saying he's hopping around on stage like whatever, like he was like in his young.
People fight
He probably would.
You like Eric B, but I'm just saying, no. Are you going to go? If Eric B just had some other rapper up there and to do all the Rakim lines.
First of all, that would, if you showed up to see that, shame on you.
Yeah,
like, that's blasphemy. Like you better show up to throw tomatoes or something. You can't. How dare you? You don't have somebody come up there and rhyme Rakim's rhymes, son.
See, now
That
I
would
would
be
do that out of
crazy.
spite. If my man was like, "We're not going tour no more," I was like, "What? Like,
Word?
you do you, I'll do me then." All right.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get me a Rock'em impersonator and stand up there with some chains and do that shit. I'm gonna play this music in the background.
Find the first little brown skinned little dude you can
Yeah.
find and put him in the corner. They won't even recognize him, son.
Like, can you remember these lyrics, son? Can you remember these lyrics? Just stand up there
Oh
and do
my
it.
God.
I might even put them behind like a screen and be like, and tempt the audience and be like, guess who's coming out? And you're gonna do the first 4 or 5 songs behind
Oh
it. And
my
if he
God,
sounds
that's
like them, people
terrible.
gonna be like, whatever,
Well,
and make
yeah.
that money.
Unbelievable.
I would definitely do
Terrible.
that.
Let me
Because
get outta
then
here.
it's like, well, I gotta sit at home while you go make all the money.
Right. That was the thing with Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Pete Rock could be able to go make money producing and stuff like that, and he ain't got to leave. And CL was like, "Well, shit, I need to
isn't
be
that
on the road, and I can't make no money just." You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's the opposite thing, right? Because that's one of the few times where people like the DJ more than they like the rapper.
That's
Well,
facts.
yeah.
Yep.
CL's like,
Like, see, that it would be the reverse. CL can't
Yeah.
show up without Pete Rock. He'd be
Exactly.
pissed. Be like,
But if Pete Rock did some kind of like, DJ extravaganza,
You'll go.
You would go to see that.
Because you'll hear all the production he's done
Yeah.
for different people and be like, y'all rock out. But CL by itself.
And all the hits, and you can get another rapper to do CL. I mean, as much as I like CL Smooth,
Yeah.
I feel like, somebody else could do and somebody else could just rap that shit and be like, oh, that shit was hot.
first of all, hold the mic up to the crowd. Everybody got that.
Everybody would know it.
Like, you don't even need CL. Just let the crowd rock it.
For real.
Pete Rock
Hey.
can just turn the mic to the crowd and be like, let's go. Yeah. Oh, man, that's terrible. Look at Troy. Troy's with us. A trash DJ.
Oh, damn.
I mean, yeah.
This is a good one, though, because like
Jazzy
Jazzy Jeff does not need Will Smith. And I absolutely would never see Will Smith without Jazzy Jeff. Maybe even with Jazzy Jeff. I need Jazzy by
That's a
himself.
deterrent. That's a deterrent.
Right. Like, could you get the MC out of here, please, and just do your own DJ thing? I don't need to
he
hear
got some
Girls of the
movies that
World
made-
ain't nothing but trouble. Yeah, go make another movie.
Yeah,
B.
go slap another comedian, do something with your time. Go do something.
Make yourself useful. Slap another comedian.
Yo, crazy. I'll catch y'all later, man.
All right.
So I know I showed up. We only got 20 minutes left. Was there anything that you all were really trying? Like, was there any meaning?
I didn't have it. I
I
was going to bring up some more Trump stuff, but if you got anything else that you want to rap about, we can.
No,
do
I
that.
wasn't. I was. Man, I've been running. I'm a PT dad now. Like that's like we had to switch. One of the issues with the schedule is we had to switch PT for my daughter. There was the physical therapy wars. And you got doctors having beefs with, less experienced physical therapists. And so, so that's all. So that's what I've been doing this month. I don't really have any.
Well, I got one. I was going to do some more Trump stuff, but Trump, let's Russia, go. China thing. Because it says this article, we're your true friends. How do you pronounce the Chinese decision? Xi, yeah. Xi tells Putin as Trump supports Russia. So quickly it says Chinese leaders said his country and Russia were true friends who have been through thick and thin together. After a video call with Putin on Monday as part of a pointed mutual affirmation of allegiance between Beijing and Moscow as President Trump has turned towards the Kremlin. In warm words attributed to say it again one more time. I don't know why. It goes. I draw a blank.
Xi.
It's Xi. President
Thank you so much,
right?
Xi.
Oh, your doctor. Oh Lord.
And Chinese state media were clearly intended to dampen the speculation that the Trump administration, which has pursued a rapid reapproachment with Russia, might succeed in driving a wedge between Beijing and Moscow. The call came on the anniversary of Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine after 3 years in which China extended a lifeline to Russia by helping Putin weather economic isolation from the West and the struggles of the battlefield. It says shortly before the invasion of Ukraine, the leaders heralded a no-limits partnership. Since then, China has sustained Russia's war machine. This is the New York Times version of events, with oil purchases and exports of dual-use technologies. The leaders also shared an ideological opposition to the West. They blamed the United States for holding back their global ambitions and promoted reshaping of the global order to weaken Washington's dominance. And so the reason I wanted to bring it up was that, like, that beginning part of the article was all that was needed, is that I do think that we're in this phase where, obviously, again, we were talking earlier about like white nationalism, how the U.S. is courting Russia, as the article says, because it sees China as the big enemy. And Russia before has been moved. So when folks suggest that somehow Russia is unmovable, there's a couple occasions in Russia's obviously recent history, not only the fall of the Soviet Union in terms of Gorbachev and what he did, but later on, Russia did think it was going to be part of the West. And that's how some of the sanctions at the UN got placed on Iran, was because Russia didn't veto those sanctions. They either abstained or voted with them. And so we have here this situation where the question becomes, can you trust Russia? Has Russia learned its lesson? Does Russia so want to be, obviously they don't want to be sanctioned anymore in terms of the US dominance of the world economic order and system. So they're going to play ball and or have conversations. They want to end the war and keep most of the land that they've taken and seized. And so they are going to have these conversations. But the United States is doing this not just to have a trading, not just to end the war because it's tired of giving weapons to Ukraine, but for the United States, this is a sort of a chess move that they get to try to isolate China by taking one of China's closest closest colleagues or nation states and make it into an adversary by having it somewhat not be so connected to China. And then again, and Russia again is even in its war with Ukraine relied on not only the things that they talked about in terms of Chinese dual purpose technologies, China buying oil, but again, bringing Iran back into the picture. Iran supplied drone technology. And for decades, Russia has been promising to send Iran top level military aircraft, but still has not delivered on that. Still to this day, no matter what's being delivered to Russia via Iran. And so again, the question becomes, with these new sanctions, there's been recently some new sanctions put on Iran, what will Russia do? Will Russia, like all this new attention it's getting from the United States and what that means for its economy, or will it hold strong in terms of the work it's been doing in BRICS, the work it's been doing in terms of working with China, and the work it's been doing with Iran, even when it had some limitations on that? Is Russia about to be a sellout? Because it also has its white nationalism, right? People want to act like it doesn't, but it also has a white nationalist streak in it that thinks that it always wanted to be a part of Europe and not be separated from it in terms of its new leadership post the Soviet Union.
Look, I don't want to pretend like I have anything meaningful to add to this. I have a lot to catch up with in terms of this. I was telling the other day, like I was trying to catch up to a little bit what's happening in the Sahel the other day, and I'm just perennially behind. So the only thing that I've been somewhat enjoying is the silliness of how upset the MAGA world seems to be that Trump is trying to be friends with Putin, when they were, being told all this time that they needed to support Ukraine and or support neither one, because all the resources going to this conflict should be going back to white America. But beyond that, I just would have to defer to you, and then maybe Ben Norton.
Man, Ben did a whole show.
Yeah, I know I'm behind on some of his stuff too. So like I would have to get caught up on some of that, and I'm sure BAP or Ajamu.
Well, we can return to a topic that we spoke about earlier before you got here, which I have breaking news on. So, and this is a media topic. So, as we spoke about earlier, Joy Reid was just fired from her show. And how she doesn't represent, obviously, any kind of real left, right? She's not a left, but She's a black woman. She, capes for the Democrats. And part of this MAGA reset or this overt white nationalism is that what you have is a lot of folks, a lot of these institutions are caving in to even putting up a liberal wall of fight back, right? And she is a victim of that in that respect. So apparently, she's been fired, and she's just done this video of her reaction to being fired. So I'm going to play this real quick. Make sure I get my sound levels up. Check, microphone check. All right.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I am is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them. Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
That's Ear Doctor, by the way.
That's it.
Yeah. Can I just say quickly, two quick things. One, as Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows has said on Facebook, she's a Harvard grad and this, that, and the third. She'd be all right. If anybody's feeling like they need to be worried about her, she'd be out to be all right. The other thing, oh damn, what did she just said it in passing there, and now it just slipped my mind. Oh damn, what did she just say that anyway, go ahead. It'll have to come. What she
was it the thing about Gaza, or the things that she brought up to challenge the president, or?
No, she said something even now. I can't believe I just lost it that fast. Well, actually, I'm not surprised I just lost it that fast. It happens all the time. But yeah, let me just think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. No,
I don't, and again, I expressed this earlier. I did not really watch, I didn't watch MSNBC anymore. And so I wasn't somebody who really watched their show a lot or at all. I would see the clips on Twitter. And so, but, like part of the analysis earlier, the conversation earlier was, basically MSNBC was caping for the Democrats. That was their strategy. Yeah. That was their marketing plan and strategy. It worked to the point of getting them above CNN, but they can't touch Fox because, Fox has all the white nationalists, and people keep forgetting that how white America still is. And so they still sometimes it's weird to me when people say things like, the Democrats did this, or they did that, or they did this, and they could have won. It's like, well, it's like you keep forgetting that this is a right-wing white nationalist country. And when I say it like that, I mean that the white people are still the majority, and most of them vote for white nationalism of some kind or another, right? They're not trying to give that up. And as you've expressed before on another program, even when they become the minority, it's not like they're going to give up power, right? It's not like going to be like, oh, fuck, well, we lost the elections, and therefore, we're going to give up all these corporations, all these resources that we've taken, all these spies. That's not what's going to happen, right? It's going to be a real fight. And part of this Trump legacy is a way of saying there's too many immigrants coming to the country. The country is getting more brown. Obama won the presidency. And again, no matter what we think is leftist around what that means around empire, like it just being a new face of empire, and empire still existing, for the hard right and white nationalist types, they're like, we want empire to exist, but we want to make sure that we are clearly running that empire and that people know their places in the empire, right? There's like, again, the white male, the white female, maybe the Indian, I guess, seems to be next. And then you can go further down the list, and then you get like, Black folks, LGBTQ, Latinos, and all that kind of stuff, whatever like that. So all that is stuff is happening as we speak. So as much as so whatever role she played in being a voice in terms of MSNBC, of liberal angst about how the world works or whatever like that, it was never radical and revolutionary. It was always put into the box of, this is how the solution is to get another Democrat into office, right? So that was what.
And I never watched much either, but in some of the criticism I would see, and just the general role I would expect that they would play, like they would also be, she included, condemnatory of those to her left. So, which is always that important role that she would have to play. Like, as I'm waving the flag for liberalism, I just want to remind you, this is the extent of the politics. So the other thing, just to be petty, like you have somebody there producing, you still have a good amount of money and a good working microphone and camera. Why don't you have a professional Zoom account? Why am I looking at the Zoom watermark on the camera? Like, come on, people. Somebody's literally behind the screen with a headphone bringing you tissue. Like, why are we looking at a Zoom logo? At some point, I would like to remember what I wanted to say. There was something that she mentioned, but anyway, but no, as is being, I think, reflected in our chat, there's not a lot of love lost here. Even if I'll admit it is always there. I always have to go through a moment of, when I watch people lose their jobs, there's that brief moment of fuck, but quickly she'll be all right. Mm-hmm. And politically, she was playing a role that was in many ways dangerous. And I would like to argue, given some of the broader politics of this platform, that she was representative of a politics that have led us here. That this is part of the issue. That if our response to an increasing fascistic wave is constant liberalism, I mean, damn, at some point, we're all just going to get washed away. But so yeah, I don't know what have they announced plans for what I don't watch the channel anymore.
Yeah, they're going to have some three-headed monster of like I think the woman Simone, who was Bernie Sanders' publicist for a while, Simone Sanders, whatever her name is, the former Black Michael Steele, former Black lead of the Republican National Party, and a Latino person. So they're going to bring on those folks probably to do some sort of debate counterpoint show. It's probably going to be the replacement. And then again, for these folks, I think two other folks were fired from their shows or removed from their shows. And that's supposed to be, again, according to the media, like the more left shows were removed, right? And again, like you said, left meaning liberal, meaning not a break from the system. But even that break is again, in this current phase, something that they're repositioning themselves towards in terms of like not looking like they are representing something that is going to be chastised as the hard left or anything like that, right? So it does seem to me that that's part of what this idea is.
So, one thing, just to bring it back to what I was looking at this past weekend, is Orasami Burton, I think, gave a really good definition of the liberal counterinsurgency, and was pointing out that what we're seeing happen now is the Trump world attacking the liberal counterinsurgency. So the DEI stuff, this stuff here, all the threats to government, and is an attack on the very liberal structures that many of us have been critical of. So it's creating this odd moment, obviously. So, well, speaking for myself, I don't know that we're properly prepared for the collapse, but to the extent that it's happening, it's that liberal infrastructure that's being attacked right now.
Mhm.
I would love it, obviously, if part of the response was to become more radical and more militant, and to say, all of these liberal structures that we were, dying to protect, are obviously weak enough that we could find ourselves in this position here. And somebody just said, thank you, Airbender, just thank you. Okay, Airbender, with your Michael Eric Dyson thumbnail, you reminded me what I wanted to say. So when Joy mentioned Nicole Hannah-Jones and praised her, it does connect to this liberal DEI thing, because that's part of what I saw in the 1619 Project as. And I did want to ask that question about Gerald Horne, just to leave it, as I know we're about to wrap, which is, for all the praise that this liberal wants to give Nicole Hannah-Jones, are people catching, as I think I have, and maybe I'm wrong here, that Nicole has both used and then distanced, and by way of dissing, Gerald Horne and his analysis. So in her initial argument around 1619, she used Gerald Horne's analysis around the foundations of this country being pro the protection of the slave trade, but then quickly ignores him throughout the rest of the work and doesn't bring him in with his analysis of settler colonialism. And then by the time it makes it to Hulu as a series, he's gone entirely. So I was just like, so if I'm reading that correctly, if I saw that correctly, connecting it to this point about the liberal counterinsurgency, it stands to reason that even in your best effort, Joy, to protect this liberal infrastructure, all that happens is it brings about a more conservative version. They come targeting you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you're right. Like I wish we as the left were in a better position, or we have to make ourselves in a better position to pick things up and to create something that's broad enough, or something that breaks through the ecosphere to get folks to not replace liberalism with more liberalism, or not to think that, again, replacing the overt white nationalists with the neoliberal is somehow progress again. And I think that's, again, the pendulum that moves back and forth, is whether or not we can move people to go further than that, right? And I think that'll be more on us than anybody else, but it's us as in the general left, not just us sitting here. But I do think that's like, we can celebrate the destruction of, or the coming apart of the empire, slowly but surely. But does the weakening of the liberals disempower the right wing? And we're not prepared to challenge the right wing and their forces on the ground and other things that they're doing. So, but speaking of challenges,
yeah, that's funny. All right, great show today. We had the whole crew back up in here. You know what I mean? Got up to about 500 people live. So it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. You know what I mean? What we got coming up? Anything? Well, let me just talk to Jerry.
I want to invite people to go back and check a couple things, including Saturdays with Renee, a great discussion with Claudia O'Brien around immigration. And I really enjoyed that discussion. So I want to invite people to go check that out. And I think I need to go catch up on Darker Than Blue from Friday. So there might be some stuff people need to go back to catch up to, like, myself included. So just to,
And the conference coming up, which all of us will be at.
Yep. No, you will be there, my brother. You will be there. I already talked to you about that, bro.
Yeah.
I spoke to already about it.
Yeah. You
I just forgot to mention to him as we were like finishing up.
He didn't know, but...
Oh yeah, I got you for 2 things. In fact, one thing I know, everybody who's working on it knows. The other thing, I'm the only one who's like, oh no, he's going to do that. So I hope nobody,
There it is. All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with some more right here on the Remix Morning Show. So y'all have a great day, and we are out of here. Peace.
Never gonna give you up. No matter how you treat me, never gonna give you up. So don't you think of leaving? Girl, you treat.
Big ups to Jerry Butler. R.I.P. Gwen McCrae. R.I.P. Chris Jasper. And R.I.P. Roberta Flack. We out of here, y'all. Remix Morning Show.